Every year, the spotlight shines on the biggest names in the NBA. The players who fill up the box scores, get the MVP votes, the leaders of your team, the top 10 players in the NBA. These are the players who usually get the most recognition and the most attention throughout the season. However, behind these players and behind every championship contender, there is a certain subset of players that get overlooked. The role players, the players who, although they might not fill up the box score or garner the type of attention that a Jason Tatum, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, LeBron James, although they might not gather that type of attention and put up the numbers that they will, they still have arguably as big of an impact as the players I just named. However, because they don't do the same things that these players do, they don't really garner the same attention from the media and sometimes even their own front office. But they're not to be overlooked. As I mentioned previously, they have as big of an impact on the game as these big name stars that we mentioned. One could argue even bigger. The championship contenders, the playoff contenders, the best teams in the NBA wouldn't be the same if they didn't have these players. And some of these players have been having career years this year. And one of the most notable ones is none other than Christian Braun from the Denver Nuggets, who is having his best season as a pro. And when you watch him, it's easy to see why. He's a seamless fit on that Nuggets team next to Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, and Russell Westbrook. His ability to play well in transition, play good defense, and most importantly, knock down open shots has been amazing for Denver. It's a big reason why they've climbed up the standings in recent weeks. As his role has increased as the year has gone on, with some key departures happening in the offseason, his play has increased right along with it, which has seen him go in and out of the starting lineup throughout the season. And a big reason for this is what he does when he's on the court. One, he's a phenomenal cutter. He averages about 1.4 cuts per possession per game, and he scores on about 78% of these cuts, which is one of the top marks in the entire NBA for a player. And he's also been pretty good at shooting the ball this season. He started off the season hot, shooting a little bit over 50% from the field in November. In December, he took a little bit of a dip as he was shooting about 17% from three, which is bad. But he rebounded back in January and got up to his mark where he sits at now, which is about 30% from beyond the arc per game, which is pretty good, and it's especially good for a player like Christian Braun. When you get the ball in your hands, you just need to knock down the shot. And I'm sure with the type of offense the Nuggets run, and with the current state of the NBA, you have to be able to knock down those shots from deep. And that's exactly what Christian Braun does for the Nuggets. But what makes Christian Braun so good is how great he is in transition. He's truly an elite scorer in transition, as he's putting up about 1.26 points per transition possession, and this ranks him 12th out of 82 possible players who reach at least 3 transition possessions per game. And that is phenomenal because transition points are very rare in the NBA, but they're also easy. And you need players on your team who can capitalize anytime you go in transition. Not to mention, he averages about 5.9 points on transition points per game, which accounts for about 40% of the points he puts up per game. And this is huge. And his ability to score in transition is a big reason why Denver has reached their highest transition rate since Jokic has joined the team. And overall, not only his efficiency in transition, but just his efficiency as a player and to be a great role player. And whenever he's in the starting lineup to whenever he's on the bench, just to be able to fill in and provide the Nuggets what they need has been phenomenal. And this speaks to how great Christian Braun has been all season. And another player who's having a career year just like Christian Braun is none other than Ty Jerome for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He has been phenomenal for the Cleveland Cavaliers and is having his best season in his NBA career, which is kind of surprising considering he missed all of last season with the injury. But he has come back this season and is putting up career high in points, field goal percentage, and three-point percentage. And when you watch them play, it shows. Now, his impact has been evident all season, but it's especially been evident in the recent stretch of games that the Cleveland Cavaliers have had, which sees him averaging about 14 points on 56% from the field, about 47% from three, and 86% from the free throw line, which gets him dangerously close to that coveted 50-40-90 club that only the elites of the elites in the NBA are able to be in. We're talking about players like Stephen Curry, Kyrie Irving, Larry Bird, Kevin Durant. those caliber of players. And this is the same group of people that Ty Jerome has been looking to be grouped in with so far this season. And as crazy as it is to say, he's reached a new level since post-trade deadline when they acquired DeAndre Hunter, as he's now up to about 21.7 points per game in the stretch since DeAndre Hunter has joined the Cleveland Cavaliers, which is very surprising. But I guess all he needed was his former Virginia teammate and best friend to come on the team with them. And now he and DeAndre Hunter take turns to lead the Cleveland Cavaliers behind Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. Ty Jerome kind of heads the bench and leads what is arguably the best bench unit throughout the entire NBA, and just kind of gives them a big advantage over the other teams in the league, except for the likes of the Celtics and the Thunder. And it's evident. Teammates like Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, and DeAndre Hunter have praised his newfound confidence and his just great play throughout the season, because he's been a big reason why the Cavaliers have seen so much success. This type of play he's put up this season has led him to be in conversations for Sixth Man of the Year, which is something, if you probably would have asked a couple years ago, nobody saw him, and considering all the injuries and things that were happening to him. But it's a different story now, and now his play has put him in the same conversation with the next player we're going to talk about, another Sixth Man candidate of the year and the Sixth Man of the Year last year, Naz Reid. Now, Naz Reid is somebody who was already well liked in the NBA and well respected by plenty of teams. And it's been no different this season. He has played phenomenal. As with the departure of somebody like Karl-Anthony Towns, he has filled right into that spot that Karl-Anthony Towns left. Now, yes, Naz Reid is still coming off the bench, leading that bench unit, but he has been arguably the best sixth man in the NBA once again. And this is despite him seeing an increase in minutes and having a bigger role. He has still maintained his consistent high level of play, as he's still shooting about 40% from three, and he's shooting a pretty impressive 48% off catch and shoot attempt. So a player at that size being able to move that well and be that efficient from beyond the arc, and really just when he's on the court, is very dangerous. Naz Reid ranks about third in NBA in points when coming off of screens. That's deadly. And it's a big reason why, once again this season, he is in conversations for Sixth Man of the Year and might be looking for a bigger payday soon. Now, the last player I wanted to talk about and highlight, who also shouldn't be overlooked, is none other than Malik Beasley, who has just been lethal from beyond the arc this season, as he is averaging 16.4 points per game on an absurd 40% from three. That's crazy, and it's a big reason why Detroit has seen so much success, because he provides that floor spacer that the Pistons hadn't had in recent years, and he's a big reason why those driving lanes have been opening up this season, and it makes Detroit's offense way more dynamic. And this is what makes him so good. And of course, there are other things he brings, like solid defense, but that ability to shoot beyond the arc, which is arguably the most important skill to have in today's game, is something that Malik Beasley has mastered, as he's on some pretty great tears throughout the season. At one point in the season, through 2 games, he had made 14 threes total, and it was averaging about 26.5 points. This is phenomenal, because when somebody like Cade isn't on, somebody like Jalen Duren, or anybody else on that team isn't giving you anything, Malik Beasley just comes right in and fills that void. And he's somebody who has to be respected no matter where he is on the offensive side of the ball, because of how great he shoots the ball. Whether it be off the dribble or on the dribble, whether he has to make his own shot or he has to catch it from somebody who's passing to him, he's phenomenal. His off-ball movement, his own ball movement is nothing short of remarkable, and it's a big reason why he is on this list and is somebody who should be consideration for Sixth Man of the Year. And it's players like Malik, Nas, Christian Brown, and Ty Jerome is why the role players shouldn't be overlooked. Christian Brown and Ty Jerome and Malik Beasley and Naz Reid are big reasons why their teams are in the position that they are in. Of course, these teams have their own star players. The Nuggets have Jokic, the Cavs have Donovan Mitchell, the Timberwolves have Anthony Edwards, the Detroit Pistons have Cade Cunningham. But they have these supporting stars behind them and these key role players who also can fill in when these players aren't on. Somebody who these who these superstars can lean on when they aren't having their best game, and they're going to fill in every time. And they are big reasons as to why the role player is something that should not be overlooked in the game, because this is arguably the most important player in the NBA. Of course, everybody wants to be somebody like a Jokic, a Jason Tatum, a Donovan Mitchell, Anthony Edwards. But just honest, everybody's not going to be that. That's reserved for those caliber of players. But you're going to have way more players who can be the lockdown defender, who can make that key shot, who can take a little bit of pressure off of these star players in key moments of the game, and they're very important as it comes to playoff time. We saw last year a big reason why the Celtics won the championship, even this year with the Celtics being so successful, is because of how great players like Peyton Pritchard and Derek White were. Yeah, you had Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown putting in work, of course. They're superstars. That's what they're going to do. But without these role players, they wouldn't have been nearly as dangerous as they were, because you have to respect them. And we have to worry about Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Payne Pritchard, Al Horford, and all these other players. It gets a lot harder on your team. But, of course, these are just my opinions. Let me know who some of your favorite role players have been. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like and comment what you think of it. I'm making videos like this all the time, so make sure you subscribe as well. And that's all I have. Until next time, peace.